Hi, everybody. Excuse me. I am so sorry that I'm behind on reading Matthew. I'm going to try to get some more chapters in on that if you've been reading through Matthew with me. But we all know that there's some things going on right now in our government and that people aren't getting the food benefits. Well, they're supposed to be getting half now. And in the Christian community, we're supposed to help those in need, and I'm sure that you are. I'm not going to say that you're not, but I wanted to put something on here, not necessarily scriptural, but more practical that we can do to help people who are in need right now, and just maybe to give you guys some ideas. So I don't normally tell people to share these videos, but today I feel like this is really important. I'm going to have a list of things that you wouldn't necessarily think about when you donate. So if you want to get together with your church or your work or any of the organizations that you're involved with, or your children, so if they're into scouting or other types of clubs and things like that, they can pull together as well and do some food drives and help some people out that are in need right now, to donate for the food bank. So it would be worthwhile to share this. And my list covers things that people don't necessarily think of when they're getting food together to donate. So I'm kind of excluding some of the common things, the non-perishables. But I wanted to bring this up. But before I do, I also want to remind you, if you're going to donate to a food bank, call the food bank and find out what it is that they will accept, because not every food bank will accept everything. If they don't have the means of refrigeration, they're obviously not going to be able to take perishables, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But I have some things that maybe we hadn't thought of before that would be very helpful for somebody. And yes, some of the things, actually a lot of the things on my list aren't exactly food items. They wouldn't necessarily be covered by SNAP benefits, but they will be helpful for somebody who's in a pinch. And so I just wanted to bring this to your attention and give you some ideas and maybe help you help somebody else. So the first thing on my list is personal hygiene products: soap, shampoo, toothpaste, feminine hygiene products. We all know about that, right? Toilet paper. You can get a big package of toilet paper, take it to the food bank. They can break that down and give a couple rolls to multiple families. Dish detergent. And I would say specifically the liquid dish detergent that you have to rinse off by hand washing, not necessarily dish detergent that you would put in a dishwasher. And the reason why I say that is, when we're in hard times, sometimes people get their power cut off. They may still have water, but they don't have electricity, so they can't run their dishwasher. You want to keep that in mind. So if you give them dish detergent, they can at least wash their dishes. And the other thing I've thought of is a can opener. A manual can opener that you have to turn, not an electric one or something that needs, batteries and that kind of thing, but just a manual can opener. You can get them, I think, at the dollar store. And same situation. If their power's cut off and they're getting a can of green beans and they can't open it because it doesn't have the pop lid on it, they can't eat it, right? So can openers, and I know a lot of people do not think of can openers, but can openers would be a really smart thing to donate. And then sugar and flour basics, that this is something, these are pantry staples that people can stretch. Coffee, tea, those are also things that you can donate. And tea is another one that can go a long way, tea bags. But yeah, salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. There's a lot of seasonings that really aren't that expensive. Again, you can pick them up at the dollar store. And these little things like this, they're not nutritionally important as far as survival, but they are small things that will help somebody mentally as they're going through a rough time, to have a little bit of salt, or maybe some sage. We're coming into the holiday period. If you can get some sage at a good price, collect sage and put that in there for their holiday meals, which I'm going to talk about more in a minute. Also, something else that people don't think about is first aid products and over-the-counter pain relievers like Tylenol. Because again, this is a situation where somebody's in they're in a financially difficult time, and I don't know about you and stress, but stress can cause headaches and things like that, and just having something like that to get through might help. Now, my next section of my list, these are perishables, so you want to make sure that your food bank will accept them, but things that they don't get very often and could be very, very helpful for a person who needs help. And that is milk, butter, eggs, and oil. I put these 4 up there for a very important reason. A lot of times people will donate pancake mix or the Kraft macaroni and cheese, right? The box macaroni and cheese. You've got to have milk, you've got to have butter to make the macaroni and cheese. Pancake mix. A lot of pancake mix requires an egg and milk. Which brings me to another thing. When you're looking at these items that you want to donate, if you're shopping for them, look for things that are simple, okay? Things that don't require a lot of other ingredients in them in order to be consumed, like pancake mix. There are some pancake mixes where you only have to add water, or muffin mixes where you only have to add water, those type of things. So you want to keep it as simple as possible. The other thing that's on my list, and this is a godsend if you don't have the money to pay for it, would be fresh produce. And some fresh produce will actually last a long time if you don't happen to have the ability to put it in a refrigerator. Things like potatoes, onions, carrots, apples, oranges, they last a long time even if you can't put them in the refrigerator. Things like cucumbers and lettuce and celery, they don't last as long. But your root vegetables, they will last a pretty good amount of time. And you don't necessarily have to refrigerate them. Another thing is bread. Food pantries tend to give out a lot of peanut butter and jelly. It's a basic sandwich thing, but no bread. How are you supposed to eat these if you don't have bread? So bread is another important item at the food pantries that are lacking. And then the last thing on my list, I know this is expensive, but if you have the means, it might be something to think about, and that is baby products. Right now, one of our main recipients of these benefits, the WIC and the SNAP, are mothers, young mothers or young parents. And things that babies need, baby food, formula, diapers, baby wipes, baby Tylenol, all those things, you know what it is, the little teething things and baby cereal, all of those things, people need those things. And I don't know why, but baby products are just so expensive. So that is something to keep in mind. It may not be something that every single family needs, but they're only going to give it to the ones that need it anyway, right? So that's my list of things, but I wanted to bring something up in addition. If you feel the need to help, there's ways that you can do this. Your church can get together and do a fundraiser, or even collect funds. And here's what I'm thinking. Okay, we're getting ready to go into Thanksgiving and Christmas, and your organization, whichever organization you are affiliated with that you might want to do this with, can collect the funds and put together little Thanksgiving packages where you can get a turkey or chicken. It doesn't have to be a turkey, but collect money from your group, get a turkey, a chicken, a can of gravy. I would say the potato flakes, because all you have to do is add water to those. You could add butter, but you know, a little stovetop stuffing. And they've got, and a can of green beans and a can of corn. And there's your Thanksgiving dinner. It's very basic, but it is a Thanksgiving dinner. And you can collect a certain amount of those and donate those to the food bank, or give them to somebody in your congregation, maybe if you're a church that is in need. And the same thing with the workplace. But I want to remind you, check with the food bank to make sure that they can accommodate, food that needs to be refrigerated or frozen. But it is an idea, and I do believe that if we pull together as a community, we can help each other out. There's ways that we can get through this, and we can help other people who are suffering right now because our government can't seem to make up their mind what they want to do. Sorry, I'm a little angry about it, but I'm trying to be a good girl. But yeah, we can help each other. So again, if it's something that's on your heart and you have a group of people or know somebody else who might be interested, please share this. These are things that are lower in the food banks that they don't necessarily get a lot of. And I'm just putting it out there to help somebody else.